Hey guys, Comic Boom here to review Wonder Woman issue 60. This is the third issue of J. Willow Wilson's arc, and we've had enough information now, and we're 3 issues in, and we still got, in my view, subpar art, and the story, I can officially say, is not to my liking. The story is very cliche. Very disappointed in J. Willow Wilson, and I'll give a whole slew of reasons why. Number one, this Wonder Woman is stupid, naive, foolish, whining, hypocritical. She doesn't make up her mind very much. There's a scene in here where Wonder Woman, for some reason, Wonder Woman reveals that she thinks Ares started this conflict in this Middle Eastern place that they're at. There's a Middle Eastern conflict in here that's been going on since issue 1. She thinks that Ares started it. There's no evidence that Ares started it. She just volunteers that information. How she found out that information, we don't know. Ares never volunteered it. She couldn't have gotten that information from the magic lasso because the magic lasso doesn't allow her to read minds. The magic lasso simply, at best, compels truth, but you've got to ask the right question. She never asked Ares the question. So we don't know how she found out that, although we can maybe imply that she had some conversation off panel with Ares and thinks that Ares started it all. She thinks that Ares has fostered this conflict in the Middle East to try to obtain some kind of redemption toward his quest for what he calls justice. But I'll even give you that, even though there's no evidence in fact Ares started it all. There's also the fact that at one point Wonder Woman confronts a soldier in here, and she basically, says, please stop fighting. The soldier says, why don't you mind your own business? Why do you get involved here? And then she actually acknowledges Wonder Woman suddenly then becomes a whining child and says, oh, you're right. I'm going to show the panel here. It's absolutely pathetic. And it's this failure to make a decision where it comes to writing the character of Wonder Woman. And so many writers get this wrong. And it's why Wonder Woman has yet to have a definitive story told, because no writer really seems to grasp that you can't have it both ways. If you're a warrior, you're a warrior, and there's only so far you can take the whole peace thing. Wonder Woman, to use an analogy, she's trying to suck and blow at the same time, and it doesn't work. And that might be a vulgar expression, but it's very apropos. And look at this whining woman in this panel here. He says, no one asked for your opinion. She's disarming a soldier who she's fighting against. He says, no one asked for your opinion. She says, stop this blood feud that will last a generation. Number one, she doesn't know it'll last a generation. And even if it is, it's true that no one did ask her opinion. She says, suddenly she breaks down and says, you're right. Please, I'm only here to find someone I love, someone who may be in terrible danger. Number one, it's true that she's there looking for Steve Trevor. But that's not the only reason why she's there. But suddenly it is. So make up your mind, Wonder Woman. Are you there to help people and stop conflict? Or are you just there selfishly to just find the man that you love who may be in danger? And incidentally, by the way, you've got no reason to believe he is in any danger. You just can't find him yet. But it's nice of you to whine like that to a soldier who really doesn't care because he's busy fighting a war, in case you've missed it. She says, the man who appointed himself your leader, meaning Ares, doesn't care about your homeland. It's his own redemption he seeks. He will destroy the very thing you hope to save. And, well, that's interesting that Wonder Woman thinks that. And maybe it's true because Ares is a little off his rocker, but if Ares is that much of a danger, because at that point you really think that maybe Ares is off his rocker again. But then all of a sudden, Ares changes his mind at one point because he hears a baby crying. So in the midst of all this fighting, Ares freaks out. He's killing soldiers on both sides, and yet apparently now he's fighting for one side, and now suddenly it's revealed that he apparently started the conflict, although where Wonder Woman got that information we don't know. And now suddenly he hears a baby cry, and all of a sudden he realizes, oh my God, he created a conflict that hurt a little baby, and he feels so bad. And then he gets all angst-ridden, and then he starts to whine like a little suck. What the hell's going on? Like, make up your mind. Like, this is just it's nonsense. I'm trying to use a diplomatic word here, but like, what is Ares trying to accomplish here? Does he if he wants justice? So his idea of this is somebody that's been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and he's more intelligent than this. He is. He knows that if he wants justice, there's all kinds of ways you get justice. So if he wants justice, Ares' idea of justice was to pick some garbage whole Middle Eastern country where there's a civil war, and he picks a side and he starts beating people up. This is a story? Come on. I'm sorry, but this just doesn't work. And then Wonder Woman gets involved, and then he starts whining about Grail, and Grail still isn't part of this story. What a disappointment. What convinced Ares that he suddenly should start fighting for justice? His logic doesn't make any sense. This is nonsense. And then again, remember I was nitpicking when I said that he's got blonde hair now instead of dark hair like he did under Rucka's run. So there's continuity glitches all over the place as far as I'm concerned. But that's a major one. It just bugs me to know. You have no idea how frustrating that is. And then to make it worse, we then at the end, suddenly we get Aphrodite at the end appearing. Steve Trevor is still being, I don't know, sort of, he's a prisoner of these I don't know, godlike animal anthropomorphic creatures that are making fun of him, calling him 2 feet and making fun of the fact that he's human. And he runs into Aphrodite, and Aphrodite is a brunette now. Aphrodite was a blonde under Rucka's run, but now Aphrodite is a brunette. Where now under Rucka, Ares was a brunette, but now Ares is a blonde. So they're screwing that up. So it's once again in the same continuity. We get, and this is so typical of Wonder Woman, where writers aren't paying attention. The editors aren't doing their jobs. And it's so frustrating. And, again, you might say it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. It shows a lack of understanding of read the comic, man. Just read the past. Is it really that much is it asking too much of a writer to read 50, before you come on your arc, to read the previous 50 issues of Rebirth to get a handle on what's going on? And in any event, J. Willow Wilson very clearly, I know what message she wants to say for Wonder Woman. She's trying to show the warrior aspect of Wonder Woman, and then the Wonder Woman who's conflicted, and then the Wonder Woman who wants to do right, and then the Wonder Woman who wants everybody to just get along, hold hands, and sing Kumbaya and drink Coke. I get it, but that's exactly why Wonder Woman is boring. Those are exactly the type of stories we don't need. And if you're going to be telling those types of stories, you got to do something different than the usual tropes. There's nothing surprising about this story. There's nothing exciting about this story. There's nothing unusual about this story. It seems very by the numbers, very disappointing, and it doesn't help that the art is horrible. The art is horrible. And I'm sorry, Carrie Nord, but I hope this is your last issue. I think it is. Final issue. Never has Aphrodite seemed so unattractive. And she's surrounded by apparently green-skinned people. I don't know why. The just war is really the just bore, as exhibited by many people. Anyways, this is disappointing, guys. I don't recommend this. She's familiar with the Middle East. She's familiar with Civil War in the Middle East. This isn't Wonder Woman's first merry-go-round. Writing her like this is still her first year, her first adventure. She's written like a teenager who's just gotten her first taste of war. And this really significantly misses the mark for me, guys. But maybe you disagree. Feel free to correct me. In the meantime, guys, until next issue, Merry Christmas. Hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at Metropolis40. And until next time, Comic Boom, out.